For us, obviously, two outstanding teams here on tap Wednesday and Saturday in North Carolina and Penn State. Obviously, North Carolina's up first. You know, tremendous respect for their program and for Coach Williams and the job that he has done for so many years. He's a Hall of Fame coach. He's an even better person. I think he's got a team that's young, like ours, talented, and he's mixing some graduate transfers in as well. They obviously had two good wins in Bahamas. Played really well against a really good Oregon team. So. I'm excited about this opportunity for, a chance to go on the road and all that goes into that. Obviously, you're playing an elite team on the road. There's, believe it or not, there's probably nothing but good things that can come from that this early in the season. So, tremendous program, tremendous team, and we need to have good preparation here leading into it.
Chris, I was asking Caleb a little bit about this, but Carolina's got a pretty sizable front line and a couple guys that seem like are decent shot blockers.
Yeah.
You've talked about you want to see Kyle finish a little better over length.
Yeah.
And Caleb's 2-point percentage is low for him too. I just didn't know how concerning that was and just what you think of that matchup, I guess, with Kyle and Caleb going against those front line guys.
Yeah, I think Caleb's got to keep working on finishing better, and we've got to make sure we're helping him get better at finishing over the kind of size that he's facing. And they have, as always, as every Carolina team, tremendous size and length across the front line, and they've got multiple bodies that they can throw in there. They've got tremendous depth, so I think that's going to be a challenge for him to catch the ball in spots where he can be aggressive. Last time we played him, we just weren't able to get him close enough around the basket to score over their length and size, and that's a challenge for anybody. I mean, they're really good at guarding kind of one-on-one and also shrinking the floor, but using their length to make you shoot difficult post shots. So he's going to have to figure out a way to impact the game in different ways, play outside in some, and we've got to get him the ball deeper in the post.
And what's the key, I guess for any team, but maybe for you guys in particular, in transition defense and trying to find a way to stop a team that hopes to thrive on you guys sort of never being set defensively?
Yeah, I think the things that they do really well. I mean, elite in an elite level for really as long as Roy's been there, is their transition game offensively and their offensive rebounding. And those aren't really actions or scouting things that you can necessarily take away. He's recruited to his style of play, and that is they're always going to be big, they're always going to be physical. I think his teams have also been very underrated defensively. They're a good defensive team. They get better as the year goes on. So I think we've got to do a good job. They're going to score some in transition. We've got to make sure it's just that they are, and they're going to get some offensive rebounds. We got to make sure that that's not a determiner in the game.
Have you seen progress from your team this year, maybe even just compared to last year, as far as transition defense, when you have a player like CJ and you have DJ and maybe Luther? I mean, are you seeing progress in that area?
We were fairly good in it last year, and I think it's been spotty a little bit this year. You really the older team you have, typically, as long as they buy into it, they're typically better at transition defense because they've done it more and they understand the pace of the game and all those things. So the younger the team, the harder it is. We're not there yet. We're not there yet, and we're not there on the defensive glass, and our guys know that. So this is going to be a great test when it comes to those two areas. But we're working on it. We're working on it every day. and we just gotta keep getting better at it.
And when you look at their backcourt, how much do they rely on Cole Anthony to make them go?
Well, he's been obviously the central point, part of their offense, and he's a, obviously I don't have to say he's a tremendously talented kid, gifted kid. And really, you could tell he really, really cares about winning. And his shot rate is significant for their group relative to their other players. But they've also had other guys step up in other games, most notably recently here against Oregon.
Chris, Caleb sort of described you as someone with a plan A, B, C, D, so on and so forth.
Oh,
How do you prepare them for the unexpected? Because I imagine that that's very important in a game like this where the opponent makes it a priority to create chaos for you.
yeah, I think you go into, you prepare as well as you can as a coaching staff to make sure your guys understand kind of what to expect, like what's coming, like as much as we can. Hey, listen, this is what we expect from them, and these are the things we're trying to take away. You're not going to be able to take away everything, but these are things we're trying to neutralize. And then the game sometimes takes a turn, and whether they are playing differently or something that you thought wasn't bothering you is bothering you, and then you have to be able to make adjustments within the game. And I think as much as possible, the days leading up to the game, it's a lot for your guys. You're trying to make sure they understand specifically what we're trying to do and how we're trying to attack them. And then, game day, you're trying to let them have a free mind.
You kind of reacted when I told you how Caleb described you. Did you disagree with his assessment?
No, it's always interesting players' observations. I think it's always, just interesting. He's a really smart kid. I've said that, really smart player as well. I just think it's interesting, they're up the way they see things, I'd like to get them in a room and try to have a really honest conversation, but I doubt that would happen.
We're just going to have to serve as interpreters?
Yeah, absolutely.
This
Yeah.
might be a little weird, but when you were preparing for Purdue last year, what were you telling Luther and whoever else was guarding Carson Edwards? Like, what was like the message to them?
Purdue?
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever I told them, scratch from the record. They're different players. I'm sure the direction you're going is with him and Cole. They're a little bit different players, but there's some definite similarities. I think what hurt us in that particular game is he got rolling, but all his teammates got rolling. And they had so many weapons, and they were shooting it so well on that given day. But you really just, against any great player, you're trying to tell your team in general, it can't be easy for them. It just can't be easy for them. And if it's easy for them, that's on us. They just can't get walk-in threes. They can't get to the foul line because we're fouling too much. Any great player, you've just got to try to make them earn it.
So under those lines, you talked about how he got going and his teammates got going. Is it if Cole plays well, but like everybody else around him is having a bad night, is that like if Cole has 30 tomorrow night, but everybody else is not with it? Are you okay with that?
They've won both ways. They won against, I believe, Notre Dame with him kind of clearly being the guy, and then they've also won where it's been a little more balanced. But I think so. I think that's what makes a good team. But clearly, your defensive game plan, it's highlighted with him and trying to make him work for whatever he gets.